Welcome to Big Brother Basics. My name is Jacob Harpole, and with me is the always fantastic, always fabulous Keith Guerrero. How are you, Keith?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you so much for having me.
I feel like I saw you not only like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, it was a really nice cast assessment, and now we get to see how they really are in the game.
Yes, and so tonight we got the first look of the Canada season. It's season 3, very exciting episode. Quite a few things to talk about. First question, though, Keith, is there anyone that you've kind of changed your opinion about since we did the cast assessment? Anyone that kind of just maybe did like a 180 for you?
I think you already know this based on when we talked about it during the episode, but Ashley completely, I had such high hopes for her, and she just completely turned around for me. With her edits, she's definitely playing up the dumb blonde type of edit feel. Her potential showmance with Superman, Hero, Zachary, that's also unappealing to me. So I really don't see myself rooting for Ashley like I thought I was going to. Um,
Yeah, I understand that. I definitely was a little disappointed to see her already talking about how hot Zach is, and I was like, really, Ashley? Is this gonna be your character? Like, is this all you're gonna bring to us? For me, probably was Jordan. I had a lot of high hopes for Jordan. I even picked him as my winner, and I think the one thing I got from him this episode is he's just playing way too hard, way too aggressive. Like he wanted Cindy to go ahead and make like this huge backdoor, and I was just like, whoa, like come on, man, just slow down. There's 16 of you. You're gonna have plenty of time. Keep the big threats in, Jordan. Keep the big threats in. Um, Other than that, I was really shocked to see Kevin try so hard in the veto.
oh my god,
Um,
that irritated me so much.
Yeah, because that was like his thing in all of the casting videos. It's just like I'm gonna take throwing competitions to a new art. So I
It,
don't
it,
I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
get it.
once a poker player, always a poker player, right? So like,
Yeah,
if
maybe he was bluffing us.
he was bluffing. He was basically saying, "I'm going to give you pocket aces," when really he has a 7-2 offsuit. There's the poker reference for you, Kevin.
Yeah. Well, maybe since they made everyone in the house HOH right off the bat, he was just like, well, there goes that strategy. He just completely ditched it altogether.
I don't know if you're trying to go for that route of being socially connected and winning without having to win competitions. And this is the very first competition. And you came into the house saying that you're going to throw a competition, a little twist where people vote based off popularities. You shouldn't be that paranoid to think that you would have to win to ensure your safety week one
Hmm.
based off of social, especially when you can kind of feel who's connected with who. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was really weak of him to be competing and successfully almost winning and taking the game away from Cindy. So I thought it was just weak, completely weak. He came in saying that he was going to throw everything, and look, already he's a hypocrite. Week one, when he said he was going to be this confident, cocky guy that just throws everything.
Yeah, I'm definitely not as high on him as I thought. I think he's definitely someone that at best is probably going to fall somewhere in the middle. Um,
Yeah.
so let's go ahead and talk about the nomination twist. So what did you think? So right off the bat, everyone had to go in the DR, pick two people to nominate. Two people with the most votes became the first two nominees. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm still shocked that there's absolutely nothing in the house. So if I was inside the house, I'd be like, what is going on? Obviously, there's something happening with regards to like my items aren't being here. There's no furniture here, and then with the host coming on the screen and immediately saying, okay, now you have to nominate people. I mean, Ashley was completely right. I don't even know any of these people's names. I would have the same problem. I have no recollection of people's names within the first hour, let alone well, within like a week, let alone the first hour of meeting someone.
Hmm.
So the fact that they had to make nominations based off of first impressions really didn't play to the advantage of someone like Risha, who stands out, who has that word that she described herself as independent. She has that
Hmm.
air of like confidence about her, and she has cleavage to back it up. And I think it was just awful. It was just awful because it doesn't suit well for people that stand out in a crowd.
No, I completely agree. Definitely makes first impressions really important. You want to try and socialize with as many people as possible. And at least from Cindy's perspective, it looks like Pilar and Risha didn't really do much of that. Um, so are you surprised that it was originally Cindy and Risha as the two nominees?
I'm not surprised with either one because they both stood out in negative ways. Risha, just for like the connection factor, she's not connected with all the rest of the house guests, and I really do think it's the age difference. And then the with Cindy, she was memorable because she introduced her name Cindy with an S. That's memorable in people's heads. So when you have that little piece of information, it's annoying. Like you don't want to be introduced to somebody like I'm Cindy with an S, and that's like constantly overkill. And she does it to every single person. It becomes not authentic. So I wasn't surprised that they were the first two nominated. How about you?
No, I'm not surprised either. I think, you definitely covered it. Like Patricia had like that, not saying that she was like a kind of overconfident person, but the way she would conduct, I guess, was looking, she definitely could come off as a little intimidating to a lot of people, and I think that might be one of the biggest factor. Plus, with the age, Cindy with an S, definitely. I think, it's one thing to be memorable, but to constantly be saying Cindy with an S, Cindy with an S. If you say it with a C, I'll kill you. It's just very kind of aggressive, very abrasive, even. So I was definitely not surprised. I was a little surprised that Bobby got so many votes. I didn't really keep track, but I think the top four it was Cindy, Patricia, and then we had Bruno and Bobby. And I was surprised. I was surprised that Bobby got so many.
Pilar was up there too.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, I was surprised that Bobby got as many votes too. And I would, if I don't know if there was like a rule if like you couldn't talk or like if like with deciding who the two people you're going to vote for, but I would have just stood out to the crowd and be like, I'm picking y'all two. If the rest of y'all want to pick y'all two too, we can all be on the same page. The rest of us can be safe, and y'all two can't be.
I mean, really, it's just a good idea though.
It could isolate me, but I'm not scared to compete in veto, and it'll just take the tension off of 10 other people, and it will only put two people in the hot seat, and it could be two people that I don't like. So, I mean, come on, it'll be great.
Well, I understand, but I can't blame anyone from avoiding that strategy. I can't blame them. But let me ask you this: do you think that it was this twist was kind of a wasted opportunity for some of the players? I can't say I remember right off the bat who voted for who, but do you think the strategy is to make like safe nominations, or do you take the risk and throw some names that people you probably wouldn't want to target when you are HOH publicly?
I mean, they were hugging each other. And literally, this happened so quickly. Like their makeup was still on point when they were having to make nominations. So like. There was never any time. It was literally, we're all in the same house. Now we have to go make nominations. And from that standpoint, like you can't even make a move. You don't know anybody. So you're going basically off of instinct and safety. So I do understand why they played it safe with these nominations. I would probably do the same thing.
I agree. I think especially since it's week one, no one really knows anyone yet. I really think the move is to go in there and just pick who you think is most likely getting the most votes. At the end of the day, with something like this, all that really matters is you are nowhere near the block. So don't try anything cute, or you might actually end up being on the block yourself. So I definitely agree with that. So let's talk about the house itself. So what do you think about the layout? It seems like very steampunk, gears all over place, no furniture. What are your thoughts?
I love the idea of the vaults and like all the lasers and stuff, and I was shocked to see that all of the accessories inside the house were actually just computerized and it's completely empty. That is amazing. My jaw, I think, hit the floor when I saw that they were just erasing everything inside the house.
I agree. It's like one big have-not room at first, right? But yeah, I love the way it looks. I think the steampunk theme is just so cool, and I couldn't stop looking at it. So I'll be interested to see. I guess maybe I don't know. I was wondering how they'll be getting furniture. Like maybe it'll kind of be part of like the have-not competitions. Who knows? Or maybe it's just something they'll get periodically as the game progresses.
And I think they don't even have like their own personal belongings yet. So like it really is going to test them for whatever have not competitions they have. Maybe like priorities, like do you want your dining room table or do you want your luggage? Maybe you can pick if you can either take your own luggage or give the rest of the house their luggage. Like they have a lot of options with how they're gonna make this twist work out, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, me too. Maybe it's something the HOH can do. Like whenever they're HOH, they're able to choose like certain things they can get access to or give to the house. Um, but
It'll be
yes,
funny to see who plays interior decorator and who utilizes it to their advantage.
exactly, exactly. So one of the big twists that they kind of hinted at was that in the Have Not room, there's going to be a secret power. So literally, when you're at the very bottom of this game, you have the chance to get what's supposedly one of the craziest powers, which is actually a little scary because we know how crazy Canada is with their twists. So God only knows what this power could be. What do you think about that? Maybe giving power to the lower people on the totem pole.
I'm all for it, but I just know like history's going to repeat itself where somebody that's strong, somebody that's in a good position is going to be a have-not one week and get that power, and it's going to ruin it for everybody that's in the minority. I'm hoping it's not the case. I'm hoping it's somebody that's going to utilize it to really put a crack in the majority, probably boy alliance, and send some power player home. But I'm thinking it's going to be what I first said.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to bring up because during the POV competition, it sounded like Kevin referred to it, I think, once or twice about how he wanted to keep his bro safe um, from hitting the block. So, are you surprised that there's already kind of hinted that there's kind of a guys coalition forming, or is it
No,
just to be expected at this point?
it's to be expected. It happens every single season. The first few weeks, it's just like it's split by gender, and girls typically, or women, I should say, women tend to like pick faults with other women and then try to align with men, whereas men just like, okay, I want to stay, you want to stay, we'll work together, and we'll just pick off the women for being quote unquote weak. And it happens with every reality show. It happens with Real World Road Rules challenges. It happens with this Big Brother, and I'm tired of it, and I can't wait for like the first few weeks to be over when like men start getting evicted and stuff. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm definitely hoping we don't kind of get another season 16 where we just have this giant group of guys with a couple of girls just absolutely steamroll the season.
It's really coming out to be that way. Like,
Yeah.
especially with, oh, I don't mean to jump topics, but especially with Cindy's renom. Sorry.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. Canada, I wouldn't underestimate Canada though, because they are known for throwing wrenches in Power Alliance plans. So yeah, so we get to the veto, and are you surprised that Cindy did so well? I was very surprised to see that that she won. I definitely thought that Kevin and Zach were definitely the front runners. Really interesting to see someone like Cindy actually pull out a win.
Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't just make it like a physical competition, and really incorporated that mental aspect of it as well. And I think, if anything, Kevin was exposed to being a threat because he was really active in the physical component of the challenge. He was smarter than the other two guys that he competed with. And then he was just very methodical. Like, he literally could have opened his combination early. It was just a matter if he started from one end of the number sequence or the other. And he just started on the wrong side. And so with Cindy doing the come from behind victory with the guys like having way more time than all of the women in like figuring out the puzzle portion of the challenge, finishing the puzzle, then going back and like literally listening for like the clicks, like that's crazy. That's psycho.
So we kind of saw Patricia kind of not break down, but it definitely seemed like she was running out of gas. Do you think that this will probably be a continuing factor? Do you think Patricia has any chance of being a power player if she were to stay this week? Because I'm not too sure.
It's the beginning of the end for Risha.
Yeah.
She's either going to stay and be a pawn, repeating over and over again, or she's going to get evicted week one. And she reminded me of people that got evicted week one, a la season 3. And then she also reminded me of Brittany with how she's like independent and like kind of has that air about her where she is kind of reserved a little bit and keeps to herself and doesn't really open up to others. So it's up to Risha if she can make that social connections. But like even week one, it doesn't matter about the social connections because it's based on if UK likes her, and based on the Twitter handle, I mean she has a chance of staying.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked at it too much, but just from what I've seen on Twitter so far is people want us to save her. She definitely got a pretty nice edit though. She definitely had a lot of talks about, her and her sister, how she doesn't want to give up. Whereas with Pilar, really the only thing we know about Pilar is that she's just a really funny girl that, likes to joke around and she's a cheerleader. So I kind of feel bad for Pilar, because I think if we had to vote tonight, especially without any feeds at all till Wednesday, I don't think Pilar is going to survive, which really sucks because I really enjoyed Pilar. Um, but yeah, so let's get to that renom though. So I was really shocked because after Cindy won the veto, I just assumed that they would kind of follow the UK rules or just go to the next person with the most votes, and instead Cindy just whips out and says she wants to nominate Pilar. Do you think she made the right decision, or do you think it was a wasted opportunity?
No, she definitely made the wrong decision, and I'm going to tell you why. So, um, the first initial reason why she voted for Pilar and Risha because was based on them not talking to her at the beginning. That makes sense. I mean, you're going based off of safety. They didn't talk to you, so it makes sense that you would cast your votes against them. But after you were told that you received the most votes out of your entire house, that's when your strategy needs to change. You need to start thinking, okay, so I voted for these two people that didn't talk to me, and despite me talking to the rest of these people, I'm still one of two people with the most votes to be eliminated from the game. I won veto. I received the opportunity to save myself, and now I'm in an influential position because I have the opportunity to make a nomination replacement. I mean, that opportunity is exactly that. Like it's I didn't expect it. I didn't expect her to be the person to make a renom. She went from the worst position to the best position, and instead of taking that opportunity to put somebody there that was potentially like feeding her bullshit or somebody that was very talkative and such, she nominated a safe person post veto.
Hmm.
I don't understand why you would try to appease the House when you just received the most votes, especially when you were social, Cindy. Because Cindy was social. She did the stupid icebreaker with her name, Cindy with an S, but she was social, and she still received the most votes. So if her social game isn't going to be strong, then she needs to make a statement week one and nominate. I would nominate a male if I was in her position, just to even out the gender dynamics, and put a guy up there. But I don't know. Nominating Pilar next to Risha is just a wasted opportunity.
I don't know. I see what you're saying, but a big factor for me is I think whether or not they knew if Canada was going to vote or if they were going to vote. Because one thing is they have no idea how they're being perceived yet. They don't know much about anyone. So she could put up a man or a quote unquote big threat. But what if she just put up one of the most likable guys in the house? So Canada saves him. And now, not only is she being viewed as a threat, the House doesn't like her. She's won a POV, and she tried to take a shot at another big player, and he stayed. So it just seems like she's put in a very bad position. I do think that there could have been a safe pick that might have been a guy that would have accomplished what you were saying. But I don't necessarily blame her for putting a Pilar if there was really no interaction. I think it's an easy nomination. Pilar doesn't seem like this crazy, physical threat that's going to win the next HoH and go after her if she stays, and she has a reason to put her up. You haven't talked at all. It's a safe nomination, which isn't that bad to do week one, given the circumstances of how they're voting and all that. But we'll see. I do think that Cindy does have a target. I don't think she's going to be rubbing people the right way anytime soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see her in a similar situation as far as being on the block the next week or two.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Maybe she's trying to do damage control, but I mean, when you're in a game where you have to eliminate people and you're already a house target, there's no really damage. You can't control that much. So I don't know. It was a toss-up. I would have just preferred her to nominate someone else. Utilize that opportunity.
If only you were in the house, Keith. If only.
I know, I'm so selfish. It's all about me.
Is there anyone that surprised you? Anyone that you didn't think you were gonna like that you're kind of warming up to right now?
Somebody that I said that Sarah was going to be the winner. I took your question and made it opposite because, because like I don't know how I feel about Sarah anymore. Maybe it's because she is a popular contestant and people do like Sarah already. So
Hmm.
maybe I'm going to just be more critical of her. So sorry, that was the opposite of what you were looking for.
It's okay.
But somebody that performed better than my anticipations initially was Cindy. Like when she won the Power of Veto, I was like, okay, I'm about that life. You earned your S. Like I'll call you Cindy. And then the renom made it a roller coaster. So maybe Cindy will be the person I feel like this throughout the season, and that could always be.
Uh, she definitely could be a hot mess express. We'll see. We'll see. But just to touch on what you said about Sarah, I kind of understand. I don't know. It's too jury isn't out yet. I still like her. I still think she has what it takes to do well. It's just she's a super fan that's in the Big Brother house. Like you can't help it if the girl already wants to be jumping all over the place. I wish you would avoid the name dropping though with like the Tala reference. Like it's like, come on, you don't have to be telling people, I don't know, but I think I might be too critical, but we'll
I'm
see.
obsessed with Neha. I
I
am just
know.
obsessed with her. I think she confirmed all of the reasons why I think she would do well this game, and the fact that I don't know if she received really, oh, she did receive one vote, but I think she's having a good impression with the rest of the house, and she's smart, and I feel like she's competitive, and yeah, I think she's going to do really, really good this season.
I agree. I'm definitely. I have you slowly convincing me to get on the Neha train, but we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. So yeah, very interesting first episode. I'm really excited. Who do you think is going to stay?
I think since it's up to Canada, they're going to vote for Risha to stay. And with the edits that are involved and the no feeds, I really think that Risha's going to stay.
Do you think that's fair? Do you think it's the way that it was edited is kind of uh,
Here,
a
here's the
bias to Risha?
here's the thing. If it was any other person that was nominated against Risha, I would have a bigger problem with it. But I'm going to put myself in production shoes real quick. And I saw Pilar's casting tape, and there was no usable footage. And I'm not surprised that she didn't have any diary room edits for the most of the episodes because there probably were no usable footage there either. So I think that with Pilar getting eliminated, it could help production on the editing side of things. And as a video editor myself, I'm very keen to that. So I respect if they're trying to manipulate a Pilar eviction, that'll happen. If that's the reason why Pilar gets eliminated, so be it. She was just a really nice girl, and we get to know her as a nice girl. But I would prefer for Pilar to stay
Hmm.
personally, but I think that Rish is going to stay.
Why would you prefer Pilar to stay?
I feel like she'll just be able to do more in the house. I think Risha has way too many hurdles to go against her, and
Hmm.
I feel like she's kind of waving her flag, like her white flag. And it'll take weeks of rejuvenation for her to gain momentum to get some influence inside the house. And I'm not sure if she can do that. I'm not completely doubting her abilities because anything's possible inside this game. But I do think that it's a really tough battle, and I'm not sure if Risha is the one that can overcome the obstacles she's facing, especially with her performance in like physical-based challenges. That's going to be a performance inhibiting factor. Her isolation from the rest of the house, the age discrepancy. There's so many things working against her, but it could make her a very likable character and a very rootable underdog. I just think that Pilar has a more realistic chance of doing good inside the Big Brother game.
I agree with that. Of course, we haven't seen that much Pilar, so I don't know how well she's doing, but I definitely agree with what you said about Risha. I think that she's already kind of alien. I think this is going to make her alienate herself. I think she's a little insecure about, her performance or her age, and I think it's just going to affect how she plays this game and how she's interacting. Plus, it's like you don't know who nominated you; you just know you got the most votes. So she's definitely going to be a victim of that paranoia really early about wondering, it's this person that voted for me, who's that? Where she should just she just needs to let it go, just move on and focus on the next few weeks. I do think Risha is going to stay though, because of the edit and the fact that we're not getting any feeds until Wednesday. I don't think there's really, there's really not that much to go on for Pilar. No reason to really want to keep her either.
The one thing that I do want to commend Pilar on, though, was her reaction to being nominated by Cindy. Because the first thing she did when she walked up to replace Cindy was give Cindy a hug and saying everything's okay. And she sounded very believable when she did it. So in that sense, she's doing a really good job with damage control, I think, unbeknownst to her.
Yeah, I noticed that too. She didn't freak out. She just kind of went with it. And hopefully that will make Canada want to keep her. I don't know. I'm hoping. I don't think. I think odds are against her though, which really sucks. But you know, it is what it is. I'm sure she'll be the first victim of many Twisto's twist.
Yeah. So, whew. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. So overall, what do you think of the premiere? Pretty exciting.
Pretty stoked. I love the keys at the beginning of the episodes. I'm just obsessed with the keys. My favorite was when Risha was at the bar and she opened and saw the key in her little menu thing, and she just about collapsed. She did. She had the Golden Globe.
It was a foreshadowing for her performance in the veto. She just absolutely collapsed. Just collapsed.
But yeah, this episode was everything I wanted. The twists seemed pretty interesting. The nominations and a veto in the same round, that's pretty cool. I'm just ready to see some character development and some sides forming, and it'll be fun to watch.
I agree, and yeah, so I think it's going to be a pretty interesting episode. Be interesting to see who leaves and kind of what the dynamics form, and it'll be kind of easier to see that once the live feeds start coming up, and so I'm really looking forward to it. So I guess that's really all we have to say, but definitely tune in to our next recap for the next episode. We'll go over who's eliminated and who the next HoH will be and how things have developed since then. Do you have anything else to add, Keith?
Nope. So just follow us on Twitter @Jacob Harple, @MostHumble, and subscribe.
Yes, and don't forget, stay basic.
Stay basic.
Bye.